You know that feeling, that constant tug of exhaustion, that low-grade hum of tiredness that seems to follow us everywhere? You're not alone. So many people are walking around feeling like they're running on empty. No energy, always tired, even when they are doing everything right. Today I want to dive deep into why this happens and, more importantly, what can you do about it? It's easy to get caught up in the idea that tiredness is simply about needing more sleep or being physically worn out. But what if I told you that what you see is a symptom, not the cause, and that what we are experiencing is less about energy and more about the function of the human mind? The truth is, our brains, while incredibly powerful, are essentially still operating on software designed for a different era, one that was far less demanding and complex. That is what experts call evolutionary mismatch. Consider this. Back in the day, our ancestors, like Johnny Caveman, were making decisions based on simple survival needs. Where to find water, when to hunt, when to sleep. Life was physically demanding, but mentally the needs were relatively clear. And our brains evolved to support these specific conditions. But now, we live in a world of constant choices, where we are bombarded with information and where our days are filled with decisions on a never-ending loop. That part of our brain that we rely on when we make conscious decisions, the prefrontal cortex, is essentially getting overloaded. It's like muscle that's constantly being flexed without rest. It's not that you are necessarily overworking physically, but that you are making a constant barrage of complex decisions, which is using up a ton of energy. And it's exhausting. And that's where the neurochemistry of it all comes in. Every decision we make, even the seemingly small one, triggers an electronic pulse that travels between the neurons and the brain. To do that, our brain uses a chemical called glutamine, which helps the neurons communicate. But the problem is that when you are constantly making decisions, then the glutamine levels increase and start to clog up our system, making it harder for the brain to function effectively. It's like a city where the roads are clogged with traffic. And as this builds up, our brain shifts gears into energy conservation mode. This is where that feeling of tiredness comes in. It's not really about a lack of energy, it's about actually a clever mechanism that our brain uses to prevent from wasting that energy on tasks that might not be productive. This is why even if you have had full night's sleep, eaten well and been physically inactive, that you can still feel exhausted. It's all happening in the background of your mind. And if you have ever felt like a phone call with someone you don't want to talk is exhausting, this is why. Because your mind is calculating that you will have to use so much energy in that conversation that it sends a signal of tiredness. So, what can you do about it? How can we win this hidden battle? First, understand that tiredness is a signal. What we tend to do is fight it instead of acknowledging it, what it is telling us. Instead of reaching for more coffee or trying to push through that feeling, consider what your body is actually telling you. It's telling you that some tasks ahead might be a waste of energy, or that there is a disconnect in your inner state and your outer needs. Second, streamline your decisions. Start by identifying the low-stakes decisions you are making every day. The small, almost unconscious decisions are contributing to this sense of exhaustion. Things like what to wear, what to eat, even things like your daily routes and routines. Try to make these simpler. What you can do is plan your outfits for the week, or creating a basic menu for your meals so you reduce the number of decisions you are making daily. This reduces that cognitive load. A lot of successful people prepare for the morning in the evening ahead of time. Third, use time to your advantage. A lot of cultures use strategic naps to help manage this process. Research shows that taking a nap in the afternoon, especially when coupled with a quick coffee, helps you clear out the accumulated glutamine and helps you reset, leaving you feeling more productive and focused. It is also a great way to help regulate a chemical in our body that regulates tiredness. When we are awake, adenosine builds up, signaling tiredness, and when we sleep, we clear it out. And a great tip is to have that cup of coffee right before you take the nap, because it takes a while for coffee to kick in. Fourth, navigate your needs with certainty. When we are unclear if something is leading to a progress or success, our brain registers that as a potential waste of energy. Start to make the tasks more manageable. One of the most effective things to do is to break those big tasks into smaller, more manageable pieces. When you do that, you are signaling to your brain that you are making a tangible process. Fifth, practice self-compassion. It's important to acknowledge that some things in our lives cannot be simplified, and some tasks will require a level of intense cognitive load. And in those times, it's so important to treat yourself with compassion and kindness. Knowing that tiredness is not a failure, but just a part of being a human, is a great first step to making the best decisions you can with the energy and clarity that you have available. This isn't about becoming a superhuman. It's not about grinding and pushing through. It's about understanding your brain and working with it, not against it. It's about making choices that align with your well-being and that empower you to approach each day with more clarity, intention, and energy. And it's about building habits and routines that support you instead of exhausting you. By combining the understanding of neuroscience with positive intelligence, we can understand how our brains are functioning and then use that to our advantage by leveraging the principles of mindful awareness. And by understanding the inside-out approach, we can start to realize that the key to transformation is not about changing what we do, but who we are becoming. So instead of just pushing yourself harder, instead of grabbing another coffee, consider what your body is trying to tell you. Start implementing some of these tips. Start to see what happens and see if you can win that hidden battle of modern life. Start making changes and you can shift from a place of depletion to a place of empowerment. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.